Fighting State of Mind, episode 7. I go by the name of Riddler. I'm with the Maverick, and I'm with Brother Silas. We're here in the building. What's happening, peeps?
You know how we do, bro. Ready to rock and roll, man. Hope everyone's good out there, man.
Everyone's good. Everyone's good. I want to just pick up the fans straight off, right off the top. It means a lot, man. Get in the comments, getting where you fit in. Subscribe, all of that jazz. I'm gonna pass you over because I'm dying to hear what's happening in this show tonight.
Yes. So today we're talking about legacy, right? I think that's the key. That's the star word we're going to be talking about today. So we know there's been a few things that have happened. There's the retirement. Usyk has gone up from being a cruiserweight to unified heavyweight champion. Fury has won. We've got Crawford fighting very soon, etc., etc. There's a lot happening in the fight game, and I think one of the things that always creeps up is the term pound for pound, right? Everyone always has this, this magical list of who's the top pound for pound fighters. So I think the question we should discuss today is, what does pound for pound actually mean, and does it really matter?
May I?
Of course you can.
First of all, I'm just going to state the obvious. To anyone that might be confused, pound for pound is a totally subjective term. It's not official. So the answer is it depends on who you ask as to what response you're going to get.
Yeah, that's a good point. So what does it mean for you, though?
I think it's
for me. Sorry, go on.
Sorry. Well, I think it's a big deal. It's a measuring stick, isn't it? To gauge, where a fighter actually sits in this current time, and I wouldn't dismiss it. I will agree with Silas that depending on who you ask, you may get a different answer. But officially, it's almost law that pound for pound, we recognize who pound for pound is.
Okay,
it's almost law. Maverick, what's your take on this? Because I've got a little bit more to add.
I'll say I'm somewhere in the middle. I'll say pound for pound is meaningless because in the sense there's no belt for it. There's no award that's given apart from whether it's the Ring magazine that's saying you're the pound for pound, or Box Rec, or whether it's Brother Silas saying you're the pound for pound champ. I mean, yeah, it means nothing, but it is still a good gauging stick for people like us to just to discuss if this person was to fight this person, who would win. So it has some relevance in that aspect, in my opinion.
Well, I like the fact that you mentioned Box Rec, and I'd like to come back to in a second. But just to kind of lay it plain, you did lean to, what it means is, in some regards, who would win if they were the same size. If Fury was the same size as, I don't know, Mayweather, who would win? Other people look at it as who has accomplished more, comparing my record to your record. And personally, I go more for the latter. I see it more as, what have I done in this game compared to what have you done in this game? Box Rec, however, anyway, we'll come back to it.
No, I hear that, but I would argue though that it isn't that you can be a victim of circumstance, right? If you're in the 147 division, for example, there's a lot of people at a high class in the 147 division. If you're a cruiserweight like Usyk, I mean, your record is going to be not as great. So I think I would always go with the former in terms of, look, if Mayweather was to keep the skills he has as a welterweight and he went up to heavyweight, how would he fare off against a Fury? Right? I know it's not perfect science because obviously you don't go up in weight and end up being. I mean, apart from myself, of course, I'm fleet-footed and everything, but but you don't go up. But I think I kind of look at it that way. I don't know what Riddler you think about that.
Again, I listen, this is a circular argument, isn't it? Because I'm going to say one thing. I know Silas is alluding to the fact that, because I know he doesn't like the law, ladies and gentlemen. He doesn't like law anyway, so he's not.
Which law? Which law are you talking about?
We've had this discussion. I've got the mic. Thank you. So when it comes to the governing bodies and this type of thing, it's not really for him. So it's almost. But you can't pick and choose. This is what I'm saying. You can't pick and choose, because I know you're a great fan of Crawford. So I know that you've called him pound for pound, and you was quite happy to lean on that title when it suits you.
Well, what I just like to quickly say is you say that we don't pick and choose, but I just, it's ironic that, most people, when they think about sort of what pound for pound is, they factor belts into the analysis, right? It's about kind of who's done your belts, etc., etc. Is that fair to say, guys?
Yeah, I'll say it's fair.
All right. But don't you think it's ironic that the governing bodies actually don't acknowledge pound for pound rankings? Do you know what I mean? So you can have it both ways, can't you?
Yeah, they don't acknowledge it. Why? Because they're not part of it.
Yeah, so how can you look at what they're doing, but they don't look at what you're doing? It don't make sense. But however, what I will say is BoxRec is probably the most impartial ranking system. They don't pay me. I'm just stating the obvious. It's based on an algorithm. It's not based on a bunch of fat cats in a room trying to sway events to get even richer. Yeah, that's a fact. So yeah, that's all I'm going to say on pound for pound.
Okay, have you got off your soapbox yet?
I've paid my bills.
I said BoxRec, and look here, we just went crazy on that, man.
It's an unwritten law, isn't it? It's an unwritten law that some people adhere to, some people don't. I mean, I haven't got a problem with it, to be fair.
All right, cool.
Yeah, it's a fantasy thing for fans. Personally, it's just for fans to sort of marvel and say, "Oh, this person is pound for pound," and for some reason, boxers seem to hold on to it. But anyways, let's move on to the next question, which is I'll say, okay, next question is of this current generation of fighters, since we're talking pound for pound, who has proven themselves to be the best?
Before I answer that, I want to ask you, Riddler. You said, that I said Crawford pound for pound, and I might very well have said that, but keep it in context. When did I say that?
Oh my God! Okay, so
when did I say that?
So at least give me that though. That this was a conversation that we've had in the past, and you've said that Crawford is pound for pound.
In my opinion, he was pound for pound. He was currently the best of the generation. But all I'm trying to do, is make it plain is that things change. And probably since I've said that, what's happened since Canelo, by the way, who is he's the best of the current generation. I'm making it clear. Contrary to popular belief, Canelo's done a lot of things, including destroying Billy Joel. Destroying a few other men along the way, but Crawford, he's got a few more things to do. So it's not a reflection of who's better skill wise, but in terms of record, I'll give it to Crawford. I'm sorry, to Canelo. Freudian slip there.
Can I just say?
Yeah, you may, Maverick, because this guy is backpedaling all over the place.
I'm just gonna. Mommy and Daddy, please stop fighting.
Hey. Listen, if I'm anyone, I'm going to be the daddy.
No, I heard that. Listen. In reality, I'll say it's got to be Crawford, right? If we're talking about the best of the generation, if we're talking the most accomplished, I can go with your suggestion of Canelo, because Canelo's accomplished a lot, going up weights, people who's fought, etc., etc. But if we're talking about skill wise, I say Crawford. And the reason why I say Crawford is because he is probably the best natural switch hitter that we have right now.
Wait till we fight quarter, and then we can maybe have. Wait, stop. Before you do this, for us to be classifying him as pound for pound, straight up and down. Look at his resume, man.
We can only go by people who people have fought. It's like when people were saying Wilder was this great puncher, was everyone discounting him because he only fought tomato cans at that time? No, it was the same. It was you because you're the Riddler and you like to play around in riddles. And listen, you get me worked up right now. Relax.
You need to relax. I triggered you because I said that. in my humble opinion, it's not powerful. Listen, that's just one aspect of the question. The second bit I want to touch on is the fact that 1 minute. This is directed at you, Silas, because
surprise.
We have to call it how it is. We have to be accountable for one's word. Now, your favorite tune that you were singing was that, Canelo, he has to fight X amount of people within the division in order for him to be, for him to go down as one of the greats. One being Plant, one being Bivol. And so, are you telling me now that he doesn't have to fight?
I didn't say that.
Are you now telling me he doesn't have to fight these guys in order to be labeled pound for pound?
Firstly, I'd like to say everyone that's listening, yeah, all the conversations that we have are all on they're recorded. They're all on the platform. So go check through the IGs, check through the YouTube, and you can have a listen for yourself. I'm categorically saying that I didn't say what Riddler said. What I did say is that I would love to see Canelo clear a division so that it's unanimous, undisputed. You know, and so I understand where Maverick's coming from, because Crawford has been undisputed. Usyk has been undisputed. It's a very elite club, you know, and I'm not all about the belts, but, you know, it is where it is, you know. But Canelo, yeah, you have to respect the man that has beaten guys. He's beaten decent guys at welter, super welter, middle, super middle. He beat Kovalev at light heavy, bro. Like, come on, man. You got to rate the guy, bro.
But
You
this
got to
is the
rate the
same
guy.
Kovalev that you said that maybe he fought him when, you know, he only had X amount of weeks. So this is why I'm struggling to understand why what is changed, why you're giving Canelo his flowers. Maybe I should just ask you that outright, because I don't know.
I've always given him his flowers. I think maybe you just didn't understand where I was coming from. You wanted me to say he's the best thing ever. No, because I think that's the question. You asked me, is he the GOAT? You know what I'm saying? I'll say he's not the GOAT. He's decent right now, but since I've checked, my view of him has improved.
Yeah, you've backpedaled, and that's cool to backpedal. Like that's
quickly. No, that's a lie. That's a lie. I just quickly want to add, please, Maverick. Fury. A lot of people are going to say Fury is the best of the current generation. Unfortunately, he hasn't done enough, especially due to his inactivity. Pac-Man is a very honourable mention. However, he's not from this generation, so he's not eligible. I'll leave it there.
So with Riddler, so am I right in thinking that you believe it's Canelo then, because you were riding for Canelo so much right now?
Yeah, I think it's not just a case of riding for Canelo. Even if I wasn't a Canelo fan, which I am, you have to, you know, you can't be in denial here. You can't be a hater. Like, Canelo is doing his works is just phenomenal. Who can match that at the moment? Who can match that?
So hold on, you're basically beefing with me, even though we're saying the exact same thing.
I want to know the angle that I want to know why. At what point in time, you know, did you start backpedaling? Because this wasn't your train of thought before. But again, I'm not gonna. If you putting your hands up to say, you know what, you've had a change in opinion, this is clear to. This is new to me. So
I haven't had a change of opinion. The dynamics have changed. I move with the dynamics. No favoritism. You know what I'm saying? I like you. You know what I mean? But anyway, Maverick, what you saying to me?
I'm first of all, like I said, mommy and daddy stop fighting. It still counts. But let's move the dynamics. Okay, so we're talking about legacy. We have to talk about the GOAT, the greatest of all time. And I know, listen, it's hard to do greatest of all time because eras changing and so on and so forth. But I'm going to put caveats in. Let's take away Muhammad Ali, because I think everyone defaults to Muhammad Ali as the greatest of all time, right?
No, not me, mate.
Okay. I like this. Controversy. But Ali withstanding for the rest of us, who would your GOAT be? And if you want to pick Ali, that's fine. But I would love to hear it without Ali in the equation.
Riddler, you want to go first, or shall I shoot?
You shoot, and then I'm probably just finished with a mate, as I'm conscious.
Oh, please, you ain't mating nobody. Listen. Firstly, because you mentioned Ali, I'm going to bring it up. He did a lot, but he fought for too long, and those L's kind of tainted my perspective. It's kind of like seeing your dad getting beaten up by the school bully. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's heartbreaking. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah. So, yeah, I'm gonna drop Ali out. Sugar Ray Robinson sounds good, but the reality is most people haven't even seen him fight half of his fights. Do you know what I mean? For me, Mayweather's the GOAT. He's unbeaten, multi-weight champion, beat a lot of favorites at the time, including the current king, Canelo. So that's who my guy is, Mayweather.
The current king, a young king. You know what it is? This is subjective, isn't it? It's so subjective, man. Again, I like to do hip-hop comparisons because I'm a hip-hop fan. It's like saying, who is the best rapper? You're going to find multiple different answers. Also, I would like to add, if we are going to do this, play this subjective game, then we have to start taking out the Mayweathers also, because this is by default, people just say Mayweather. So I would like to maybe think outside the box and say, okay, we take Muhammad Ali out and you take Mayweather. Who are you left with?
Joe Calzaghe.
How rude. How rude.
You said undefeated.
Who would you say?
If you're going back undefeated, Joe Calzaghe.
Okay, cool. So what you say, Riddler? Because Riddler actually hasn't said anything. You know, say all he's done is say you can't say this. You can. What are you saying?
I'm waiting for one more fight to answer this question.
Oh God!
From a certain fighter. At the moment, it's just yeah. I have to stand on myself. It's subjective.
So
all right.
Am I right in saying if we're going by the undefeated and you want to take out Mayweather, Calzaghe will be the next? I mean, 48-0, he beats Roy Jones. He
out of prime.
Bernard Hopkins.
Out of prime.
When Jeff Lacey was out there terrorizing the middleweight division. I'm sorry. Oh, wait, and we talking about didn't Bernard Hopkins fight till he was like 70 or 80? So when was his prime really?
That's a brilliant question, though.
That's true. That's true. Maybe we save that for another show. Yeah. Maybe save that for another show. Listen, I think we've had a lot of interesting points here, and for the last couple of shows, we've been kind of basing a lot of what we're talking about on, Fury versus Wilder, the massive win, what it means for legacy, history, etc., etc. And that's the impact of a big fight. It will have you thinking back to the great times that have occurred. But I think now it's time to move forward. Usyk AJ rematch is going to occur. Crawford fighting Porter. Canelo. Or he's a reach away from undisputed, or Plant is, depending on which way you look at it. So personally, and I'm sure I speak on behalf of everyone, we do look forward to the future, and we look forward to amazing nights of boxing. With that being said, this is Fighter State of Mind. Peace.
Peace.